Welcome, welcome. Can you guys see me? I'm trying to join on my own phone, but it won't let me. Come here.
Daddy, my brother left the toys in here.
You did.
Yeah, he put the toys in here. That's silly. That is the aquarium. Not this. This is not the aquarium.
You want to say hi to the phone?
No.
Say hi.
Hi, phone.
Alright, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the toys.
Put it back.
I want you to put those two toys away.
This way.
We'll go jump in bed, okay?
Back to the playroom. I'm the daddy's hook. I'm daddy. I'm the daddy's hook.
You want a daddy tuck?
Yeah. Do you have two phones?
I do.
Why?
So I can see the stream on one, and I can see the monitor on the other.
Oh.
Alright, I'll be right there, okay?
I see my name on the iPad.
Yeah, you typed your name on the ChorderCon right there. Didn't you?
Mhm.
You're so good.
I wanna do my last name.
You want to type your last name?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I type my last name?
Please spell your last name.
Okay. K-E-E-N.
That's correct.
What?
How do you type it?
K.
Why doesn't it work? Who's that?
Nico.
Okay, mommy's looking great.
I'm gonna type my last name.
Alright, type it quick before she finds you. Where's your K? Which finger do you type with your K? Yep, that's right, your thumb. Alright. Put your thumb here.
Which one?
Right here.
Hi, what are you doing
Can you back up the three keys away and
Is Khalil on a live stream?
She is.
Alright, time for your bed, please.
Can she type her last name first?
Okay.
She already typed her first name. Alright,
Daddy. Daddy.
where's the K? It's this one down, right? Whoa. Do you remember where the E is? Where's the E? Here's the diagram. Where's the E? Where is it? There it is. You remember what finger you did the E with? Your left index. Alright, see if you can do two E's really fast right next to each other by pulling that one towards you.
I did.
You did it.
I
Do
disappeared.
two E's. Two E's. One, two. Very
red.
good. Pretty good. All right. What's the last letter in your last name?
Let me find the N.
You want to find the N?
Yeah.
Where's the N? There it is.
You're on the top.
Yeah, it is. Do you remember which finger you used to type the N? It's this one here.
Is this one is on the bubble?
Okay, put your middle finger there and pull it back towards you.
Ooh.
You did it! Whoa, let's show everybody. Whoa. Look at that. What did you type?
I typed in my first name. I typed in my last name.
Wow, you are a good typist.
Yeah.
You might be the best 4-year-old typist in the whole world. Ah. What do you think? All right, is it your bedtime?
I'm gonna give my mommy a hug.
You give your mommy a hug.
All right, time to go. Say good night, Dada.
Good night.
And Daddy took.
I love you. All right, Daddy already read your story.
But I want one.
Oh,
I'm Daddy took.
you want a daddy dog.
I want a daddy.
You have to apologize for the. You have to tell the stream that Daddy will be right back. Okay.
Oh.
Tell him Daddy will be right back. Can you say Daddy will be right back?
Daddy will be right back.
Okay. Yes, this is very important. Daddy will be right back.
I want a Daddy took.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Man, we need to work on the lighting in here, don't we? Giggle Echo. Was that on a CC device? Yes. Yes, it was. It is on a CC device which I cannot show you because it has not been announced yet. But it will be announced on November 12th at ChorderCon. I cannot, unfortunately, show you either my screen or my desk because there's unreleased products on both. Love them while they still want it. Warrior Dad, yes. Yeah, they are precious. They surely are. Every time she comes in my office, she says, Daddy, I want to type something. So she might be the next typing prodigy. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. As I've been developing .io, I've been thinking about how it'll work with my kids. Baby Quarter and .io have sort of merged into the same thing at this point. There's a lot of development that I want to do to make it not only a great tool for experienced users, advanced users, something that I want to use every day to build my skills as, I guess, an advanced user, relatively speaking, to the average person currently right now, and also making it a valuable tool for elementary students, and potentially even before that. Okay, so the streams that I'm gonna do leading up to ChorderCon are gonna be a bit mysterious. I don't, I don't know how else to describe it. It's gonna be a little different because of what I was just talking about. That I can't broadcast my screen. I can't show a camera of my hands. There's just stuff that we're still keeping locked down until ChorderCon. But I can talk at a higher level about some of the things we're working on, and this will be good sort of practice, kind of dress rehearsal for some of the big plans that we have for streaming moving forward after the conference. All right, Tariq, I don't think I've seen you on the stream before, Tariq, so welcome first of all. He says, question for you. I just bought a ChorderCorder 2. Still hasn't come in yet. How does it work exactly? Do I learn letters first, and then once I hit a certain words per minute, it teaches me chords? So first of all, the waiting time right now for a CC2 is probably like 3 weeks, I think. They're made on demand, so if you haven't received it yet, but you've ordered it, thank you for your patience. You should receive it very soon. They are being built on demand. And then, do you learn? Yes, we recommend a solid foundation in character entry before you proceed to chording. Definitely, it's good to. It's my opinion, and sort of the whole philosophy behind the invention of ChorderCorder is that character entry and chording are both, not one is more important than the other, but rather that those things are equally important, and that they should not be prioritized one over the other, but that they should be working in harmony together. So yes, learning to type one character at a time, having that flexibility, and having that to always be able to fall back on is absolutely essential, I would say, in just modern 21st century computing. A lot of what we type isn't just words, isn't just conversational. So I guess 26 out of 100 plus buttons on a full-size keyboards are letters. So there's a lot of other things that you'll want to access that's important to learn, which I would classify as character entry. So definitely you'll want to learn that. And then after you get that solid foundation where it starts to feel second nature whenever you want to access a character. Hopefully that's how you already feel about a QWERTY, but once you reach that level of aptitude, hopefully within a month of practice, then you'll be ready to start transitioning into chording. And chording is where, it's very similar to how we learn and process language, even like with thinking about my kids at a young age. We start with the letters, but whenever you're reading a word or whenever you're speaking a word, you don't think about every letter one letter at a time, right? You start to chunk, your brain chunks all of those individual letters together into more complex concepts, more advanced phonemes, and those chunks are that mechanism that your brain very much does automatically, is something that will start to apply to not just communicating with our other humans like we already do with words, but communicating to machines in whole words or concepts. So that's sort of the whole philosophy behind ChorderCorder. I got the chat up here. Are you familiar with TAP? Yes, I'm very familiar with TAP. TAP is microchording, very different from macrochording. So microchording, TAP is pretty similar to, what's it called? What's that? There's a Georgia Tech professor that made a chording keyboard, Twiddler. Yeah, the Twiddler, where you're hitting multiple buttons to output an individual letter. And that's great in certain situations. For instance, one-handed typing, where it's very hard to have access to a full keyboard for one hand. but you'll be very limited in your speed with microchording. You can microchord on a ChorderCorder. Don't get me wrong. Again, if you want to like have a special chord for typing, I don't know, a trademark symbol or some particular, you want to access the thousands of Chinese kanji or Japanese kanji in a single stroke. That's great. You can't have a dedicated button for all those inputs, but for any language where you are typically typing like Roman-based characters, many of them together to output an entire word, and you only have, I don't know, 26 to 30 different characters to choose from, it's going to be really slow if you output only one letter at a time. So you have to think about, I have a video that really dives in deep about this. It's called Why Chording is Awful, or 3 Reasons Why Chording is Awful. And it talks about how you have to account for not only the press, but also the release in a chord. So we call that chording tax. Anytime that you chord something, chording isn't always necessarily faster than character entry. Because if I'm typing, let's say I'm typing a 3-letter word, and, A-N-D spacebar. So that's 4 characters that I'll typically be inputting whenever I want to type the word and. If I'm typing that in character entry, I might be pressing the D before I release the A, right? But if I'm microchording the word and, then it's chord release for A, chord release for N, chord release for D, chord release for spacebar, as opposed to, it's sort of the difference between like a shotgun or a semi-automatic versus an automatic weapon. So if I'm typing in character entry, again, I could hit that spacebar before I've even released the A, especially in this case where all of those character inputs are all on different keys. So it's a lot faster in many cases if you're just typing 1, 2, or 3-letter words in character entry even than chording. Once you get up to that 3-letter word threshold or 4-letter word threshold, that's when it's often faster to chord than to type in character entry. There's a time and a place for both. Again, ChorderCorder, character plus chord, we recognize, I would say this is one of the things that really distinguishes us from a lot of historical chording systems that have come before us, is the embracing the best of both worlds, as opposed to saying, oh, just you should chord everything, you should learn chords for absolutely everything, which I highly disagree with. I think that is stupidly overcomplicated. We believe that character entry is great. It's great for flexibility. It's great for layered inputs. It's great for combined inputs, shortcuts, hotkeys, for all sorts of things that we use computers to navigate. And then also chording is great for ultra high speed text entry once you get into using larger words, just reducing mental load, being able to converse with the machine the same way that we do with other people when we think in words. We don't think 1 letter at a time. If I was talking 1 letter at a time right now, I would sound like a crazy person, but that is the standard in human-computer interaction, unfortunately. That's exactly what we're trying to change. Okay, we got a lot of comments here. Let's see. That blue spirit mask is cool. Yeah, I found it at the bottom of Lake Laogai. Let's go take a look at it. Blue spirit here. This was Halloween, maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't know. It was before kids for sure, when I had time to like actually invest in Halloween costumes and other trivial matters. But if you zoom in, you can see it's a pretty poor quality 3D print, actually. This was before 3D printers were able to make really nice stuff. I'll show you the inside too. The kids love to play Monster with it, so that's why it's taped together at the bottom, because they broke it. That's the inside. Yeah, I painted, I masked and painted. This was before multi-material 3D printing was also like widely available for hobbyist printers. So I just printed the whole thing in blue. It was 2 parts. I glued it together along this seam here, right across the eyes. So it's 2-part prints. I think that was on an Ender 3 probably, which those printers are pretty bad now. But back then that was it. That was the goat. It was the goat of hobbyist printers. Now you couldn't pay me to use one of those. Yeah, Avatar, Last Airbender, one of the greatest series ever made of all time. And the samurai swords, I got it in a estate sale. A friend just gave them to me. His uncle ran an estate sale company, and I used to work on like weekends in college. I would help them auction off stuff, and they just had those samurai swords. They didn't know what to do with them, so he just gave them to me, and I've carried them around for like a decade since then. But I love them. If there's ever an intruder up here, I mean, I'll just go full ninja on him. I don't know what I'm doing, but I mean, he's gonna get at least one samurai sword blow before he takes me down. You have that as well. Oh, you have tap as well, or you have a blue spirit mask and samurai sword as well, Tariq. I'm late. I forgot it was Sunday night. Welcome, Todd. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I was just talking about how I can't show what's on my desk. Hopefully I didn't show it while I was getting up. I also can't show what's on my screen, but we're still gonna hang out and talk about what we're doing here at eye level. Why not putting 1 or 2 joysticks so that it can be used as a mouse too? Dana, I don't think I've met you, Dana. Welcome to the stream. There is, in fact, on both sides of a CC2, there is there's actually a CC1 here on my wife's desk. So on a CC1, this switch here and this switch here are both dedicated to what I call, what do I call it? Variable speed digital mouse control, which is very useful. Variable speed digital mouse control is great, but it is not a full replacement for an analog mouse in terms of precision and control. I would say that if I'm restricted to only using a ChorderCon 1 and no mouse, or let's say I have a ChorderCon 1 on my desk and then I have a regular analog mouse on my desk, I'll probably use the variable speed digital mouse control like 60% of the time. And then there are certain applications, especially when like CAD modeling or like if you're gaming. I don't have a lot of time for gaming now, but anytime you want highly precise mouse control, yeah, analog is better than that. So it's not something I'd consider a full mouse replacement, but it can be, like if you're at the airport or something, or you're not in your optimal setup, you can use it completely as a mouse, but it's not as good as an analog mouse. It's not as precise. So that's one of the reasons why we're introducing the Forge trackball and analog mouse components to our portfolio as well. Yes, very excited about our first dedicated mouse release coming up. Going back to the chat here. So it's safe to say you mathematically created this system. Yes, I would say that the creation of ChorderCon was highly mathematical, highly scientific. It was a highly iterative process that took place over several years. There's also a bit of art to it at the end of the day, I'll say, because once you get into, you can algorithmically determine a layout in terms of the most common bigrams, trigrams in the English language. You can optimize it to maximize left versus right hand alternations, finger versus thumb alternations. But still, at the end of the day, there's a lot of, once you get to using it, there's little minutia, there's little nuances of things that that you choose to adjust. And again, I'm not saying that the default layout for CC1 is necessarily perfect, but it was 95% of the design process. It was a highly intensive portion of the design process of the CC1, and it's something that I know that I can say 100% it is the absolute best that I could ever make it, marketed towards the general average person. It's very good. It's something that I don't think anybody in a reasonable amount of time could come up with something better. But also, we're not elitists here at ChorderCon. We don't want to say this is the ultimate layout. You must adopt to this layout. This is the best. Like, this is the way. Like, how dare you try and do something different? No, we are all about meeting people halfway. So yes, it's fully customizable, and not only is it easy to customize, but we've gone above and beyond what you'll see with, like, I don't know, Razer and Logitech and other big keyboard companies where you have to download something on your computer if you want to change the layout. All of our stuff is web-based, super easy to change for, I know we've done a lot of work to make sure that the device is accessible for international users as well. I think about a quarter of our sales are international. So we ship these things all over the world. So yes, having a customizable layout and of course customizable chord libraries, which are easily shareable between different users, is something that's very important to the culture of ChorderCon and something we've made sure to build in from the ground up. All right, back to Tyreek again. Can we attach a PS5 joystick thing to this thing? I was skeptical how it would work with Fortnite. So I'll be honest with you, I don't think that analog sticks are that great when it comes to movement in a video game. If you think about like why there's a lot of argument in the gaming world about PC gamers versus console gamers, right? And one of the places that I think PC gamers pretty much have console gamers like pinned down, pretty much beat objectively, is mouse and keyboard. It's more efficient. It's better than a controller. It kind of is. And one of the reasons that a mouse and keyboard, I think in most ways, is superior to a controller in terms of pure performance is that if you're using an analog stick, let's say you're playing a first-person shooter and you want to move around a corner to shoot somebody and then move back, or you want to go around a corner and stop moving so you can shoot somebody, if you're moving that analog stick all the way to the right and then you want to change your direction, you've got to travel all the way back over that threshold. Whereas on a WSD, you just switch fingers. So it's a lot faster to have a digital rather than an analog. So we talked about how analog control is better for aiming. Yes, absolutely. Mouse is better for aiming than an analog stick. It gives you more control. But also, I would say, if you had to aim with keyboard buttons, that would be a pain. I'm thinking about how some different like speed toggles or resolution toggles, DPI toggles could make that bearable, but it doesn't seem like the right modality. So movement, I do think digital is the right modality. Again, analog is not superior to digital. Digital is not superior to analog. There's a time and a place for both of those things. So being able to change direction quickly, being able to counter strafe, to have a clear feeling, haptic, audible feedback on when something is happening, to be able to feel that with your body, to be able to coordinate all your senses together. I think that a keyboard is far superior than a controller in that sense. And while you could absolutely rig up an analog stick to a camcorder as a mod, I don't think that would improve your gameplay. I think that in that case, in the case of movement, I think that a 5-way tactile switch, what we have, would be far superior to an analog stick. So if you look at a lot of people think that these are analog sticks. They describe it as like, oh, this is a keyboard made of analog sticks. And no, not really. So an analog stick, if you look at the range of motion, like I was talking about how you had to travel all the way back over that stick. An analog stick, do I have my calipers up here? I think my calipers are in the shop. I would estimate, we don't have to measure it, I would estimate that the travel range of an analog stick is probably like 15 centimeters, or not centimeters, millimeters, 15 millimeters from like diametrically opposed travel distance. It's pretty extreme. Whereas look at the diametric travel distance on the camcorder. Again, these are not analog sticks. It's not an analog input. It's a digital input. If you don't know the difference between analog and digital input, I'm not going to give a lecture in this particular live stream. You can Google it, but perhaps another time. I don't want to go off too far on a tangent. But if I'm going left to right here, that's probably like 2 millimeters. So 2 versus 15 millimeters. So this would be about what I would be doing on an analog stick, and this is what I do on the camcorder. So it's a lot more instantaneous, and also another thing that is extremely important and cannot be understated is that I have an auditory and tactile feedback exactly when I'm crossing the threshold of when that input is active and inactive. This is very important for typing and gaming. So I can feel and I can hear. I'll put this right next to the camera so you can feel and hear this. You hear the switches moving? So what you're hearing right now, hopefully you can hear that. Let me know if you can hear that. Can you hear that? If you can hear that sound that you're hearing it's not just like the creaking of the moving parts inside of the device. That sound is by design. Just like you have clicky keyboard switches. There's an actuation point inside the switch where there's a steel bubble inside of it which pops. So you can feel that actuation point, you can hear that actuation point, and that's something which you would never have in an analog stick, because an analog stick doesn't have a set point when it's active or inactive, right? It has, perhaps you can feel whenever it reaches the end of its sensing threshold, but the whole idea of an analog stick is it's not on or off, right? It's 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, 5 degree, all the way up to, I don't know, 80 degrees or however far it can go. I don't know, maybe 60, I don't know. But anyway, that's probably enough on the difference in analog and digital. I actually rewatched the thing last month. Last time I watched it was 9 years ago. Such a good show. Oh, he's talking about Avatar? Yeah, great show. Can't wait to watch that with my kids. Can you tell us the price of the new CC item as a hint? Ooh. Man, that's a good question. I think telling you the price will give too much away. Yeah. So on the last stream, the hint that I gave was that it is the new, one of the new announcements or reveals at ChorderCon this year is a product which is called CC Blank. And the blank is a letter. It's a letter of the alphabet. But I'm not going to tell you what letter it is. I'm trying to think how I can give a better hint than that, which isn't going to totally give it away. And I don't know. That's tough. I don't think I can tell you the price. I think if I tell you the price, that's going to give just a little bit too much information. Just a little too much. So you'll have to wait to see the price. So just use a regular mouse and then half the CC2. Yes, yeah, I think most ChorderCon users, or at least CC2 and CC1 users, are using the device as a keyboard replacement and then as a mouse supplement, not necessarily a mouse replacement. Again, it can be a mouse replacement. Like if you're at the airport or you're on the go and you're not in your optimal setup, you can use it as a mouse. It's great if you're in Excel, you want to shift a couple cells over, or you just want to select a search query or something pretty simple. But if you're gaming or you're CAD modeling or something where you want as precise and accurate, as much control over your mouse as possible, the variable speed digital mouse control that comes on the CC1, CC2, and Masterforge is it's not going to be as good as a full analog mouse replacement. MaxArt, welcome to the stream. I was wondering if you're going to come over from Twitch. I'm glad to see you here. The CCB, a Bluetooth adapter. That's a good guess. I will neither confirm nor deny that the CCB will be announced at ChorderCon. That is something we have certainly talked about, is a Bluetooth adapter. Very good guess. All right, I got to start a print here. Feel free to give more guesses. I can't wait until after ChorderCon so I can just stream my screen and show you guys what I'm working on, but I can't do that right now. Let's get this print going. It's getting late. How's everybody doing tonight? Do you guys have a busy week? It's starting to get cool here. This is going to be a quick print. I'll probably be able to model this in like 90 seconds. Somebody time me. All right, so I can't reveal the price of the new product, but I think I can, to give you a little bit of a more high-level preview of what's to come. I'm pulling up some of my speeches that I have planned for ChorderCon. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the theme we have planned. So, as I model this and start a print, I'm gonna pose a question, and I'm gonna allow you in the comments to. I know that our demographic, the typical ChorderCon user is pretty technical, is quite tech savvy, but I don't know how many of you would actually know what does fully defined actually mean. I have a feeling some of you probably know what that actually means. So without Googling it, or fine, Google it if you want, or AI query, tell me in the comments what you think fully defined means and how it pertains to this next season, this next year of ChorderCon. And while you look that up, I'm going to finish this model. CCM MacroPad. That's a good guess too. I will neither confirm nor deny. Very good guess. All right, model completed. Exporting. Pull it into our cam here. To our downloads. Confirm. Pull it in. Slice it. Move that brim. Beautiful. We'll start that. Go. All right. Let's see if we have any responses. Whoop. And again, in the future, I'll have my stream, I'll have my screen and stuff broadcasted, but we got to make sure we get through these announcements first. All right, Maxart's guess of what fully defined means. The vision of the Masterforge ecosystem is fully defined with pieces coming together. That's a good guess. I like that. I would say that is true in many aspects. CC A to Z, the ChorderCon encyclopedia containing all the knowledge in one place. That's actually a pretty good rebranding of CC Docs that we have right now. That I'll go ahead and tell you that's not it. That is not the reveal. But I like the idea of a CC A to Z. Maybe one day we will have 26 different products, one for each letter of the alphabet. Okay, and then Todd says, I remember it has to do with the CCIO song, but I haven't been able to unlock it again. So there's one song that was available in CCIO. It's still possible to unlock. But it's on a lottery system now, so it's a lot harder. That song will be publicly, I guess, fully released outside of CCIO for the first time at ChorderCon for sure. That song will. And there's another song as well, which has never been possible for anyone outside of the ChorderCon team to experience. There's another song. And if that song was available, I think it would give a lot more insights into the theme of Fully Defined. All right, that'll be the reveal for today. The name of the other song that will be released at ChorderCon is called Fully Defined. I'm hoping for a CCF, a magical device that fixes the issues I've had with the M4G so that I can finally use it again. If you've seen the screenshots that I recently dropped in VIP and maybe elsewhere, I don't remember. But for those like you, Max, that have experienced the disconnect issue with the M4G, we have a high level of confidence that this will solve it, and we do expect for that to be ready. My CTO has told me that I'll have a working one in hand by ChorderCon, and I very much trust him in making that happen. But that's not a big reveal. That's just something that we're aiming to also accomplish. Yeah, I think when it comes to big reveals, we want to make sure those are universally exciting to everyone in the community, not just those that that we're trying to fix issues for. But yeah, I think that will that should address all your issues by bypassing the USB hub. So thank you so much, Max, for your patience with us as we figure that out and make sure you're able to use your awesome Master Forge to the full extent and intent for which it was created. All good guesses. What about just generally speaking, outside of ChorderCon? Does anybody know what fully defined typically refers to from like just an engineering, a generic engineering context? That's something I haven't yet seen in the chat. It's a beautiful, beautiful concept. Both objectively and subjectively. The concept of being fully defined. We're at 47 minutes on the stream now. I think after we get this definition nailed down, probably end the stream. I'll go down and pick up this print. It's only it'll probably be less than a 10-minute print. All the necessary dimensions and relations being in place. Yeah. That's a pretty good definition. Yeah, essentially what fully defined means is in the context of geometric relations. This is just me spitting off the cuff. No, I can't tell you what the print is. I'm sorry, Todd. I'll tell you one day, not today. As soon as we get through this ChorderCon, we can go full transparent again. Yes, and in the context, back to fully defined definition, in the context of geometric relations, in the context of any three-dimensional thing, anything that is fully defined is something which definitively lacks ambiguity. It's something which has 0 degrees of freedom. Every line, every vertex, every curve, everything of this object, every face, every breadth, everything, every isocurve, there's no room for it to move because you have told it exactly what it's supposed to be. If that makes sense. It's like in CAD in particular, if you've told a shape that it needs to be X dimensions, say it has to be 10 millimeters wide, it has to be 20 millimeters tall, it has to be 25 millimeters deep, and it's supposed to loft down from, this plane down to here. It's supposed to be curved or filleted on this side at exactly this angle. It's something that there's absolutely 0 assumptions being made. So a lot of things when you're building them in 3D, at first, as you start to define them, they're arbitrary. There's some assumptions that the computer has to make. This is also very true for programming. There's a certain level of guessing that the computer has to do, that especially if you're a novice, you might not realize how much guessing is actually taking place in these softwares. And at a certain level, you remove so much flexibility. And you're not removing flexibility. You're removing flexibility from the machine because it's so well defined. It actually, if something is fully defined, to the machine, all flexibility is fully removed, but in reality, it is designed flexibility. You've baked in the exact parameters, the exact dimensions or relationships that you want to have all these knobs and these dials, these things that you can pull a little bit here, you can push a little bit here, turn a little bit here, and get a drastically different design from what you started with, but in a way that you have, it's sort of like a designed behavior in a way. And let me pull up the, I don't want to just spit it off the cuff and keep rambling forever. This is the definition I pulled up for ChorderCon. It is a geometric design which has all necessary dimensions and geometric relations applied, so its position and size are unambiguous and cannot be changed unexpectedly. In essence, the geometry is locked into a single stable configuration, eliminating any freedom for unintended modification or error. That's a really good definition. I like that. I think that was actually an AI definition when I did a query of what is fully defined to me. It's something, it's a concept that I've worked with and wrestled with for many years now. But I don't think I've ever actually had somebody define it for me. It's just one of those things that's always talked about, and then one day you kind of just look back on it and decide you want to figure out what is the real definition. All right, fully defined really does sound like a math term now. It is. It is a very mathematically driven concept, at least. But I think it is applicable to things beyond raw mathematics too. Maybe something about getting rid of ambiguity in chords. That's a good guess. This is probably the biggest hint of all and also the most confusing hint of them all. Yes. Yes, very much so. I would say that's why we announced the theme so early, is because it's high level enough. It's not going to give away exactly, but once you see it, once you attend ChorderCon, you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. So it's perfect. It's exactly the, again, designed ambiguity. This is exactly what we're talking about here. Fully defined does signal a push towards CC Tech maturity, which would be most welcomed. I would say very much so. Being fully defined as a company is a lot about becoming more mature. I do think that ChorderCon is sort of in its adolescence and approaching adulthood right now. And this moment of this focus on being fully defined, I would say, is very much also a focus on maturity as a company. Not letting, oh, we're a startup, be an excuse. Being something that can scale uniformly, and something which can take a concept and a culture and not lose that shape, not lose those definitions, whether it gets smaller or bigger or any size. That's what being fully defined is all about. Will there be an IPO? This is something which has been discussed. Actually, at the last ChorderCon, this is something that was discussed. I don't want to use the language IPO. We have discussed non-accredited investors being permitted to take partial ownership of being a community-owned company. That's something we definitely are planning to do, and we have not been shy about. But IPO typically refers to like listing on New York Stock Exchange or another major fund like that, which we cannot afford for sure. Yeah, that's quite expensive. But with Reg CF legislation and the fact that non-accredited investors can take ownership in small businesses now, without needing some major broker like the New York Stock Exchange to play the middleman, I think is an amazing thing. I think that community-owned businesses are the future. Decentralization, I think, is the future. So that's something we definitely want to do. We get questions all the time from people that say, "How can I invest in ChorderCon?" And historically, we've never had a good answer for that. We've always just had to say, "Sorry, you can't." Like as a LLC, managing 1,000 different K1s is something which our team just can't really handle. But with some of the Reg CF stuff, that does make community ownership more viable. So that's definitely has been planned on a roadmap for quite some time. So stay tuned for more on that. Yeah, that's another good observation. All right, 57 minutes. This is a good talk. I think these streams will get more interactive once my screen is visible. I really want to do some. I want to have some cameras set up on the stream. I'm thinking bottom right hand side of the screen will be my right hand on a ChorderCon. Bottom left hand of the screen down here will be the left hand on the ChorderCon. And then I'm also thinking about a camera that's like up here that looks down. And then, so probably what you see right now, my face will be a corner cam, maybe up in the right or the left, I don't know. And then the focus will just be my screen, or maybe a top-down view of well, I guess if I have a camera for both hands, I don't necessarily need a top-down cam. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out, but the plan is to turn this chair into like the ultimate streaming ChorderCon chair. So I'm excited for that project too. Thanks for those who joined on Friday to watch us build this fully defined chair computer. Oh, hold on, these emojis are getting in the way. Chair computer setup, CCCD. What is CCCD? ChorderCon chair desk, fully define your workspace. I would love to launch a ChorderCon branded furniture line of like workspace furniture that is specifically made with ChorderCon input devices in mind. We're not there yet. I'll go ahead and say that. I don't think we're there quite yet. More of a bandwidth thing, I think, than anything else. That's something our team is capable of designing and implementing. But I think we've got bigger fish to fry right now. I think it's best if we stay focused on the input devices for now. But yeah, hopefully if our team is able to grow a little bit more and get some more gas in the tank, we can allocate resources to focus on other stuff like that. But yeah, I certainly have a lot of ideas as far as how to make some really sick productivity focused kind of furniture and other workspace add-ons. But yeah, I think what the core of all of that ultimately comes down to your input device, right? So So that's where we want to stay focused and for the time being, and make sure we don't spread ourselves too thin. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll continue experimenting on my own and hopefully see more people like we've already seen in the Discord building their own chair recorders and other sweet setups. Wear recorder is already a great start. Yep. Yeah, and I think with all the advances we've seen in wearable displays, wearable tech, I think chair recorder has a very big role to play in that. So we'll continue to follow those technologies as they progress. And yeah, the moment I can have a wearable that gives me everything I have on my desk right now, I don't see any reason why the desk can't just leave the picture completely. I think that's only a matter of time. I don't know how long it's going to take somebody to build the pair of glasses that can do that, but there's been good progress for sure in the past 5 years. Still a ways to go, but I'm looking forward to that future. I want to, but I need a quarter thread bolt-on for the wear cord. Yeah, I think there are some people in the community who have built quarter 20 threaded underbelly for the Masterforge, if that's what you're referring to. So definitely check that out. But we want to make an official one too. Heard that mentioned on the last stream too. So we'll keep that in mind. All right, and we're at over an hour now. I'm gonna go check on this print. Thanks for joining the stream. This was fun. We'll keep this tradition, making sure we do this every week. I love talking with you guys. I love if there would be a way for you guys to also join in and talk back a little bit more, like you can invite people to your stream and stuff. I don't know, or just the chat is fine too. I'm new to streaming. I think streaming is the future of content creation, so I definitely want to do a lot more streaming. When I was working on CCIO and designing CCIO, I was thinking a lot about how I'm going to be streaming using that platform in the future. So we'll keep it going. I know we did assembly streams in the past, which was great, which was fun. But I think it's good for me to have this direct connection to our community. So I want to commit to make sure I keep this consistent. I don't know if it's going to be Sunday every week. I'll try and keep the same time next week, but I'll let you know if it changes. I have a feeling Saturday might actually work better with my schedule. But yeah, let me know if you guys have a preference. If everybody's saying they really, really, really would prefer Sunday, I might be able to make it work. But we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. I'll keep y'all up to date in the chat. But for sure we'll keep a weekly stream going. I do love making content, and don't have time to edit a new video every week, especially with all the prep going into ChorderCon stuff right now. But streaming honestly is better anyways. Just candid conversations, getting to know people one at a time, building community one person at a time, and I appreciate you all being here. If there's anything I can do to improve the stream, obviously the lighting here is pretty crap, so we'll build out the setup. This is just me chilling in the office right now, but we'll keep building on it. Cool. All right, well, happy Sunday. Hope everybody has a wonderful week. I'm here if you ever need me, and I'll see you next week. See you next week and every week until the whole world can type at the speed of thought.